What's up, YouTube? Brad Hoover from Rants here. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. This is a channel for fans, by fans, so we'd love to hear what y'all had to say. All right, so wasn't going to make this Yellowstone video, but after watching season 4, episode 6, I just could not help myself. Um, I love this show. While I thought season 3 was a little bit lacking, it left us on that cliffhanger. And that cliffhanger, I was really hoping this show was going to come through with like this really powerful moment. Maybe take away one of the main characters that I love so much. Um, and while it sounds crazy to say I want one of my favorite characters to die, it seems like after Game of Thrones, that's what I want in a show. I want a show to kind of leave me guessing, is someone going to live? Is someone going to die? I don't want somebody that's just got blown up or someone that's been riddled with bullets to somehow pull off a miracle and survive. I don't want that because it's not really realistic. But when you get shows that start doing this, you get like the Dragon Ball Z experience where you know that your favorite characters, no matter if they die, the most brutal of deaths are going to come back. I don't like that. I wish Yellowstone wouldn't have done that with us. Now, I will say this, the most interesting part of season 4 has actually not even been any of the Duttons for me. It's actually been Jimmy's story. Now, the only thing I don't like about Jimmy's story is once he got to the ranch in Texas, it feels like everybody at that ranch is just blah. Like there's nothing to them. His story is interesting, and how he's becoming into a cowboy himself is an interesting story. I just wish that they would have maybe put some like Dutton like characters around him to make that story just a little bit more um, interesting, exciting, I guess you could say. I wouldn't even, to be honest with you, if they would do that, I wouldn't even mind a spinoff with Jimmy to a certain extent at that ranch. But I know that's probably never going to happen, but it would be interesting in my eyes. Now, as far as Beth and Rip's relationship, that to me is the biggest disappointment in season 4. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because at the beginning of this season, it felt like, okay, there's going to be this huge reveal at the end, and she's going to have to come clean about, the abortion that she had and why she's not able to have kids and all of that kind of stuff. The reason why she hates Jamie and so forth, so forth, so forth. That would have been something that I've really kind of waited for all of season 4. We haven't even got a hint of it really. And that kind of bothers me to a certain extent. Another thing that really bothers me is the idea that they added the kid to the picture, and I thought we were going to get like this really big dysfunctional family that was going to, over the season, was going to be able to grow and flourish, maybe in a dysfunctional way, but just so show some evolution that it's coming together. And it seemed like it was going that direction for like the first 3 episodes. And then it's like it just completely and totally forgot. Beth didn't want nothing to do with the kid that she had adopted. And of course, Rip has really shown no interest in this boy whatsoever, anyways. So I feel like those are opportunities that are really missed that could have really have been impactful, made this season just the best season ever. Because Rip and Beth are main characters, they're main draws for this show. And I don't feel like in that regard they have been used appropriately. Rip has been busy with the bunkhouse drama with Lloyd and Walker, but he hasn't necessarily really gained any momentum when it comes to his role as a new father, his role with maybe potential husband for Beth, or any of those. It's all been about bunkhouse things. Now, as far as Beth is concerned, she feels like she's just there now for one-liners. That's it. Like she'll show up in a scene, she'll make a one-liner, and then they'll turn to something else. I like Beth. I really like Beth, but I wish that they would evolve her character past that. I wish that we would see more depth in that character, kind of like what we got to see in like the season 3 flashbacks, where you get to see just how, the struggles that she's had to endure over the years, losing her mom in the way and the blame that she had put on herself, the way her mom had treated her. Then, of course, the abortion and the hysterectomy that took place in, that they showed in season 3. That pain and that suffering, I kind of felt like was either going to boil over into season 4, but overall, she's just there for like the cool one liners and that everybody likes making memes about. And then after that, she's just gone. And I don't like that. I wish they would have made something out of this family dynamic. And it feels like they're losing time to be able to do it. Because if this goes on in season 5 and there's nothing that has really happened about it, I feel like that's just a complete and total waste. Now, as far as John Dutton is concerned, um, he needs an antagonist. Whether it's with the Native Americans in Montana trying to take his land or some business trying to take his land, he needs an antagonist to be an interesting character. Him going around and, sleeping around with hippies and just, eating breakfast. That's basically all he's done all season long. And I feel like that has just been a waste of his character. He needs that antagonist. He has not had this, and this is the very first season he has not had it. And it really shows. It's made his character less interesting. He looks that much older. He looks that much less interesting in my eyes. I kind of felt like, if Rip doesn't take this boy under his wing, that it was going to be John that was going to do it. But it turns out it's not John. It was actually Lloyd to a certain extent that took this boy a little bit under his wing and was trying to show him some things. Lloyd was doing the exact same thing that he had done with Rip all those years ago, and that was kind of a cool dynamic, but it kind of looks like even that's going to end after that boy kind of, saying what he said to him and kind of offending Lloyd in the and just basically at that point kind of ruining that relationship as of this moment. But I kind of feel like John just needs that antagonist to be an interesting character. I feel like Casey, on the other hand, I hated his and Monica's story. I felt like those two should have just separated, ended this whole Monica being a part of the Duttons and any of that. That would have made for a very interesting dynamic. But him just kind of following along with that new puppy dog that he had, that he got for his son with getting his new house. It feels like that's all he's really there for now, is to kind of do as Monica tells him instead of standing up and being like, hey, you know what? This is who I am. You either accept me as who I am or you accept, who my family is and what we do, or you just leave me. I wish it was that simple for him, but unfortunately, has to go the long ways around to do it, whether he even does it at all. I actually even thought that there was going to be some cool Casey Jamie kind of conflict this season. There might still be. But as of right now, Jamie has been completely and totally sidelined this season. For whatever reason, this with Jamie's father has kind of come to the forefront. I thought there was going to be another blow up when it come to that, but it turns out Jamie is just still Jamie. And then there, of course, there was that scene at the very end of episode 6 where Beth gets to deliver one more one-liner that he falls into and acts so scared about. That the junk just annoys the crap out of me. But as far as Jamie is concerned, he's got a really cool dynamic. He could, he loves his brother Casey. He could have conflicts between, of course, his father and, the Duttons, and could be in between that and maybe have to choose not necessarily the Duttons over his father or his father over the Duttons, but the whole Casey-Jamie relationship could have really made that a really heartfelt choice for him. I don't think they're going in that direction necessarily, and that really bothers me because now they're putting Casey in the Dutton family and just being like, okay, if he doesn't choose John and Beth, then he doesn't choose Casey as well. And I felt like that's a bad choice that the show needs to make. I think they need to say, you know what? He's separating Casey from the Duttons. He still wants part of Casey. He just doesn't want no part of the Duttons. That's the way I would have loved for them to have gone in that direction. Uh, and as far as the Lloyd Walker fights, the bunkhouse drama, I never liked it, to be honest with you. It's been a big part of this season. I thought Lloyd, when this is the part that drove me crazy. In this episode, he goes and he has a talk about a boy about, hey, maybe you should apologize to Beth a little different way, and then the boy says maybe you should basically take your own advice and go apologize to the bunkhouse for what he had done to Walker, getting into all those fights and doing what he did. But instead of him going and doing that, he actually did the polar opposite of that. He actually went in there, stabbed Walker, and then they had to get into a big fight, and that ended up leading to Rip having to get involved and break a couple of fingers of Lloyd. So I kind of just felt like that was a moment where instead of maybe going down that route where that they just solve all that, that they just put the past behind them, and that they, Lloyd went in there and said, you know what? I don't like where I'm going with this. If I can't be good here, then I'm going to leave or so forth like that. But there wasn't those moments like that. Just feel like these are moments that are missed. It was kind of a cool scene that they allowed the fight to take place between Lloyd and Walker, but at the end of the day, I feel like I've seen that all season. I want to see something a little bit different. But overall, I just feel like season 4 is like almost on the brink of being good season. I'm not going to say a great season, but a good season. I just feel like they need to give John an antagonist. They need to stop giving Beth these one-liners. They need to allow Beth and Rip to grow with the family. I feel like they maybe need to give the characters around Jimmy a little bit more depth, a little bit. And I feel like Casey don't need to be following Monica around, and Casey needs to be his own man in a lot of different ways and leave that bunkhouse fighting alone. We've seen enough of it. I don't think we need to see any more of it. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. What do y'all think is the best and worst of season 4 of Yellowstone so far? As always, guys, thanks for watching. Take care.